Fox Sports Trending now.
Trevor Siemian has been named as the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos as head coach Vance Joseph made the decision today to start Siemian over second-year man and former first-round pick Paxton Lynch.
He is a guy that's, again, has rare talent, and he works at it. He does work at it. Some guys need more time. I mean, he's a young player. You know, so in a year or two, I mean, he may be ready to take over the reins, but right now he's not.
That was Joseph earlier today on Paxton Lynch. ESPN says Steelers running back Le'Veon Bell is expected to end his holdout after Week 3 of the preseason. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, according to the Sports Business Journal, will get a contract extension through 2024. With TrueCar, you can find out what other people in your area paid for the same car you're looking for, new or used. Visit TrueCar to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Dodgers pitcher Clayton Kershaw will make a rehab start on Saturday. He's been out with the back strain. I'm Dan.
Your shot at a trip to our iHeart Radio Music Festival now. Text the keyword FUN to 200-200. You'll get a text confirming entry plus iHeart Radio info. Standard data and message rates apply. That's FUN to 200-200.
It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan.
Ready, set, just call me Swanee.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
Finally, Clemson Sports Talk has come back to Columbia. Hello, everybody. Lawton Swan back at it once again. 316 Greystone Boulevard. Fast-paced, action-packed, hurry-up, no-huddle sports talk programming for you. Fox Sports Radio 1400 in the Midlands, heard around the world on the iHeart radio application. Download today. It's free. The Clemson Sports Talk app, also free. Thoughts, opinions, and more, free. Text line brought to you by the Ocean Reef Resort in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, 803-450-0086. 803-450-0086 is the number that you can text. Give us a call, 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. It will not be long until foot meets ball and we kick off the college football season. By the way, at the end of Friday's show, you can tune in and listen to me be not overly excited about the eclipse. I think in terms of the numbers of people that were flooding to the area to see it, I was right. I told you this thing was coast to coast. Like, I don't often step to the mic and go, I was right, you were wrong. You're good looking, I'm extremely handsome. You know, I don't get into all that. But I will say I was right on that front. Traffic today, all day long. My wife goes out to the grocery store. She's like, oh, it's like a ghost town. Traffic today coming into the Palatial 316 iHeart Media Studios. Nothing to it. Lowell, the intern, goes, Swanee, I'm glad I'm going the way I'm going, though, because if you were heading eastbound, I believe it were, on I-20 today, it may have been a little bit rougher out there for whatever reason. There were a lot of people, I think, in and around town, but it wasn't like if the sun just went dark instantaneously out of nowhere and people just stopped their cars and panicked. People, what was that? Everybody knew what was coming. I did enjoy it with the family, went outside, videotaped the whole thing so that one day when they're older, they can experience it and maybe remember it a little bit. My daughter was just happy to swing. My son just wanted to go inside. Do we really have to sit out here, Dad, and watch this? Well, the rest of the world is, son. I don't want you to be the kid that in 30 years, when the next solar eclipse, whenever it is, do we know when it is? By the way, the only person who could tell me when the next one is sitting across from me, and he hasn't been properly introduced, so I probably should do that. He is none other than Lowell, the producer. Lowell, what's up?
Bada boom, realest champs in the room. How you doing?
Back at it, man. You see what I did there? Lowell, the producer, extraordinaire.
Speaking of champs, I like the shirt.
Thank you. Rudy was offsides. Lowell's attire today. Not the one, though, that looks like it's been chewed up by a hedgehog. This is the fancier Rudy was offside shirt.
By the way, I don't know if I told you, I am down to one famous Jameis Crab Shack shirt now.
Oh, so there are actually multiple versions of that shirt.
Oh yeah, there are. I have a couple of them, but I have one now. Other one got torn up.
It's funny. You play the card of Swanee. I don't have any money, but yet you buy multiples of shirts when you buy them.
I did not buy the shirts. My father bought the shirts.
Look at there. Good for your dad looking out for you, taking care of you. All right, so Lowell, the producer, when is the next eclipse here in South Carolina that we could go see? Is it a ways off? Do you have that information available?
I don't. I do know when the next eclipse in the U.S. will be.
Okay, that's close enough.
April 8th, 2024. It will be from Texas to Maine.
Is it a total solar eclipse?
Yes.
That's why I didn't get all juiced up about this thing. That's why I didn't get all excited. There's another one coming in 7 years. Now, I'm not telling you I'm guaranteed I'll be here at 47 years of age, but I could have a shot at this. I could make a run at it. Anything else on that front, brother?
I'm looking to see when the next one in South Carolina is.
So the expectations, the build-up, and the payoff, it kind of reminded me of 4th of July as a kid. All day long, you can't wait for the fireworks at night. It's going to be incredible. You get there, the fireworks displays take place, the grand finale goes, and then, woo, everybody goes back to their house and back to business as usual.
I will say, it was really sort of creepy. It's a little creepy because it doesn't all happen at once.
Yeah.
And so it was just like the light would get dimmer and dim, like someone was
It's the good
dimming
Lord's dimmer switch.
Yeah. It was the light was just getting dimmed, and then all of a sudden it's just dark. It's like, that's a little weird.
Can you imagine? And this was the thing that, because I told my nephew the whole time. My nephew sends me these videos. And when I say nephew, ladies and gentlemen, I don't mean a guy that's 12. I mean a guy that's 27. Sends me these videos, and he's like, Swanee, how can you not think this is cool? Check out this simulation. And I just didn't get into it. And I still didn't. What was weird about it was I felt like I was under fluorescent lighting. I felt like there was a blinking kind of going on as it was fading out. And then it got dark for a few minutes, and it was cool. But then once the payoff came and it turned back the light, that was the most impressive thing for me. How little of the sun, and I think a lot of you may feel this way. If you want to call with your experience watching the eclipse today, that's fine. We've got a lot of Clemson sports talk to get to. Zach Lentz coming up, Larry Penley, Clemson men's golf head coach, coming up in hour 2, and Mike Legg will join us to talk about the Citadel football team for you Clemson Tigers, as that's the matchup before you take on the South Carolina Gamecocks. I think the single most impressive thing that I recognized is how much light a sliver of the sun gives off. Just a sliver. And maybe I should have noticed that when clouds move in front of the sun. Listen, this whole event of a solar eclipse and it getting dark is certainly unique. But here in the state of South Carolina, any given summer afternoon with a good thick cumulonimbus cloud, I guess it is, that comes through, all of a sudden it can go from being relatively bright outside to relatively dark or dim. Streetlights don't normally come on. Crickets don't normally start freaking out a little bit. Bats don't typically come out. But it was what it was. It was cool. It was cool. I was satisfied with it. Not mind blown. This was not the lights just go off. Okay, prime example. If today on the way home from the studio, Lowell, the sun just happens to go out, much bigger event. Wouldn't you agree? If it just goes dark in the middle of the day. I can't imagine, though, and we laughed about this, I can't imagine what it would have been like 400, 500 years ago before we had retina protection and everything that people had to watch this event for, dare I say, Native Americans here roaming the plains, and all of a sudden that happens. That's probably one of those days where you just go, well, thank you to the spirits for keeping us alive or whatever, because I don't know what you do at that point if you didn't know what was going on. You look up and there's a black dot in the sky with a ring around it on the outside. Maybe somebody figured it out. I don't know. I took it all in, though, with the family, so I'm a good dad.
By the way, from what I can tell looking at this website, the next total solar eclipse that you will be able to see in Columbia, South Carolina,
Yeah.
May 11th, 2078.
I would be 101. I would be 101.
You can make it.
Hang in there, boy. Let me just eat oatmeal for breakfast from now on.
My mom's grandmother lived to be 102.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
There's a chance.
Might be a slim one. Let's talk a little Clemson Tiger football here, though, on the show that shakes the Southland tonight. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. We begin with the preseason AP poll. Your Clemson Tigers ranking inside the top 5 of the AP poll to kick off the 2017 season. The Alabama Crimson Tide, to nobody's surprise, are ranked number 1 in terms of conferences. The SEC had 6 teams in the top 25. The ACC had 5 teams. The Big 12 also with 5 teams. The Pac-12 had, the Big 10 had 4 teams. The Pac-12 also had 4 teams. And the American Athletic Conference also had 1 team in the initial release of the AP poll. And that's where we'll begin the show tonight. First, we'll address the teams that are ranked inside the AP top 25, and then we'll dive back towards the Clemson Tigers and just what they've done or what their season may look like being ranked there in the top 25. We begin with Alabama at 1, receiving 53 first-place votes. Ohio State comes in at number 2, receiving 3 first-place votes, followed by Florida State at number 3, receiving 4 first-place votes, followed by Southern Cal at number 4, receiving 2 first-place votes. That was it for the first-place votes, all of which went to Alabama, Ohio State, Florida State, or Southern Cal, and a large majority of those going to the Alabama Crimson Tide, to nobody's surprise. At number 5, the Clemson Tigers, followed by Penn State, Oklahoma. Washington is at 8, Wisconsin at 9, and Oklahoma State, the Cowboys, rounding out the top 10. I have no beef with that. I have no objection with that. These are 10 of the best teams in college football, in my opinion. Are there some teams that you can move in and out of there? Absolutely. But I think that's a pretty good starting point for the AP preseason poll. 11 through 15 looks like this. Michigan at 11. Auburn comes in at number 12. LSU is 13th. Stanford comes in at number 14. And Georgia sitting there at number 15. So week 2 of the season, it would appear that if things play out the right way for Auburn, it'll be a matchup of potentially top 10, maybe top 12 teams, depending on what happens in week 1.
Well, you think about Michigan. They could lose that game to Florida. That's a spot you can jump up. And then I don't know that they're going to drop that far, but Alabama and Florida State obviously have to play each other. And, I mean, if there's a blowout, one of them could drop that far.
Sure. I mean, if Alabama were to just beat the brakes off of Florida State, they could certainly drop behind Auburn, and you could have a matchup between, say, a 10 Auburn team at that point and maybe a 4 or a 3 Clemson. So week 2 in Tiger Town could be a matchup of top 10 teams given the AP poll. Moving on down from 16 to 20, you've got Louisville at 16, Florida. The Gators checking in at number 17, Miami comes in at 18, South Florida at 19, and number 20, Kansas State. 21 through 25 of the AP preseason poll looks like this. Virginia Tech comes in at number 21, West Virginia at 22, Texas checking in at number 23, Washington State comes in at number 24, and Tennessee comes in at number 25. So there is a look, I should say, at the preseason AP top 25. I don't know that this is what you want to go to the house with in terms of how it's going to look at the end of the year, but if you're a Clemson Tiger fan, you're in a great spot to begin the season, because the one luxury that you've got in college football today, and I will contest that it also existed during the BCS era of college football, was the benefit of starting at or near the top gives you much more leeway to absorb a loss early on in the season and still climb back in, even under the new system with the college football playoff. So Tiger fans, hey, take number 5, do with it what you want. You can celebrate it if you want. You can be angry about it if you want. But ultimately, it's just a starting point, and it's a pretty good one for Clemson.
Well, I really wouldn't get too happy or too upset about the ranking if you're any team in this poll, just because this is not the poll that matters. The coaches poll is not the poll that matters either. There's one poll that matters at this point now.
The Clemson Sports Talk poll, right?
Absolutely. Second, though, the second most important poll comes out in November.
Right.
And that is the college football playoff poll. That's the only one that matters.
And that's a good point. But in terms of starting position, the relative, and I think this is where being number 5 helps. Human beings are naturally biased. They're naturally biased by what they hear. They're naturally biased by what is perceived. And even though in Grapevine, Texas, they're going to do a great job in getting order and chaos of the college football season somewhat organized into a format that presents us the college football playoff rankings down the road, I just inherently believe that these polls and these belief systems that exist today do go into that and are a part of that and will always be a valuable piece of the system. Maybe not valuable, maybe I should change that. Will be an inherent part of the system because the perception is that Alabama is number 1 and Ohio State is 2. And because of that, when those meetings take place, those are factors that will influence the College Football Playoff Committee's rankings. You can't deny that. The winner, if LSU defeats Alabama this season and Alabama is ranked number 1, the College Football Playoff Committee is absolutely going to think that is a bigger and better win for LSU than Auburn defeating a number 5 Clemson would be. That's just the facts of the scenario. And the pecking order begins with these rankings. They're not the end-all, be-all. Don't go put Alabama, Ohio State, Florida State, and Southern Cal in your Final Four because that's probably not the way it's going to shake out. But it's a pretty good starting point. If you just said, hey, who's going to make it there? Well, the defending national champions out of the ACC have a good shot, and that's Clemson, and they're sitting there at number 5. Those other 4 teams are all very acceptable teams to choose from. I would tend to lean towards Clemson over Florida State right now because that game's at home, and Florida State, in my opinion, has a much tougher schedule than Clemson does. I think Florida State plays a much tougher schedule than the Tigers do this year. That's an unfortunate circumstance that the Seminoles will have to face.
I just wish with these polls we could do away with the AP, we could do away with the coaches, and the committee could put out their poll at the beginning of the season. Because I realize you want to have these rankings at the beginning so you know who is seen as a good team and what's a good win and what isn't a good win and everything like that. So I wish the poll that mattered would come out at the beginning of the year with the opinion of the people who are going to be putting together the playoff teams.
I think that the value in this, though, in the way it's set up. By the way, Zach Lynch should be joining us coming up here in just a few minutes to talk about Clemson's scrimmage, and we'll dive into that more with Lowell, the producer, a little bit later. I think the inherent value of these polls is this. It's not, I don't remember if it's 16 people or however many people are on the playoff committee, okay? I don't remember that number off the top of my head. But this is a look at it from the coach's side of things. This is a look at it from the media member side of things. And why I think that's important is it gives a starting point to that committee from 2 separate groups, coaches and media, who sort of evaluated this thing, and then they kind of run with it and
they're supposed to come up with their own rankings. So if you're doing that, you ought to have to do it at the beginning of the year. That's just my opinion.
I understand where you're coming from. 803-978-1832. The show that shakes the Southland rolls on. Clemson scrimmaged on Saturday. We've got the latest on that when we return.
Win your trip to our 2017 iHeart Radio Music Festival, hosted by Ryan Seacrest.
Let's get this started.
Over 20 of the greatest performers on the planet. September 22nd and 23rd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Listen to Win Your Trip.
Brought to you by Ulta Beauty. From makeup to fragrance, skincare to hair care, and even a full-service salon, at Ulta Beauty, you'll find all your favorite brands like Urban Decay, Tarte, NYX, and more. Ulta Beauty. All things beauty, all in one place.
When a stroke happens, every second counts. So don't drive and call 911 to get to the emergency department as soon as possible. At Lexington Medical Center, we're pleased to serve our community. As a certified primary stroke center, our acute stroke team rapidly evaluates patients and provides them with the fastest treatment possible. This specialized care limits the chance of brain damage and gives stroke patients a better chance of full recovery. Act quickly at the first sign of a stroke and count on the Stroke Center at Lexington Medical Center to provide you with the best possible care.
Looking to get away without having to spend a whole day traveling to your destination? Ocean Reef Resort offers 1, 2, 3, and 4-bedroom accommodations with the comforts of home and boasts the best oceanfront views. Swim in their sparkling indoor and outdoor pools, relax in their hot tubs, try out the Adventure Oasis pool with adult-sized water slide, or just float down the 250-foot lazy river. Visit us at oceanreefmyrtlebeach.com or call us at 1-866-935-0530 to learn more.
Need custom shirts, hats, or uniforms? How about promotional giveaways for your business or organization? Need fast turnaround times? Look no further than Meridian Printing and Promotions. Located in Lexington, they provide an in-house art department, in-house screen printing, and in-house embroidery services to the Midlands and beyond. For the absolute best quality products and services, contact Meridian Printing and Promotions, 785-4990. Check them out online, mbspromo.com.
Your pet deserves high-quality health care. Your pet deserves the friendly, professional doctors and courteous staff at Midlands Veterinary Practice. We treat you and your pet like family by listening carefully to your concerns and addressing your pet's long-term healthcare needs. With the use of our latest state-of-the-art technology, like a therapeutic laser, we offer alternatives to drug therapy. At Midlands Veterinary Practice, we care for the most valuable pets, yours. Visit us at MidlandsVet.com on Facebook or Twitter, or contact us at 750-7387, 750-PETS.
Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk. Join the show in the chat room at ClemsonSportsTalk.com.
Clemson Sports Talk, the show that shakes the Southland, weeknights 6 to 8 p.m. Fox Sports Radio, iHeart Radio, ClemsonSportsTalk.com, the website. Zach Lentz joins us here tonight to talk about Clemson's scrimmage that took place on Saturday. First and foremost, Zach, man, I got to ask you, what happened to the good old days of Clemson opening up some of these scrimmages, not only to the media, but to select Clemson alums?
Well, probably the days of social media and stuff, and the proclivity of fans and media to tweet out or Periscope or Facebook Live stuff that really they don't want their opponents seeing. So I would say that's probably what changed. But you know what? There was a select group of alums there the other night, and that's the cool thing that Dabo Swinney does at some of these scrimmages is he does bring back some of the former players and allow them to watch the scrimmages, and the families of the current players and stuff get to come watch the scrimmages. But, I think it's just, in the social media age right now that we live in, fans or opposing coaches and teams are looking for any advantage they can get, and if it's on social media, they're going to do it. And the media, I'm kind of calling myself out here, but we love to get those clicks and those tweets and all that stuff out. So I would say it's probably that stuff.
Yeah, I saw Brad Brownell and some of his staff members up in there getting a little sneak peek. I thought, man, that's the guy. You want the scoop? Tell Coach Brownell. But we got Zach Lentz on with us here tonight to talk about the scrimmage over the weekend. And Zach, one of the developments that really has kind of come to the forefront is the situation at running back. We know that Tavian Feaster had a big day and an 80-yard touchdown run, but otherwise was kind of stifled, I would say. But Travis Etienne continues to be a name that comes up on the list, and Dabo Swinney continues to talk about him, and Lowell, the producer, continues to dance thinking about him.
Yeah, he's slowly but surely, been making a name for himself in all the right ways thus far through camp. I will say this, Tony Elliott did say after the scrimmage that he was getting reps with the first team, which I think is a big thing because, it's always difficult, I think, to judge any player when they're running with the third-team offensive line or the third-team wide receivers if you're a quarterback. I mean, just take a look at what plagued Deshaun Watson in his first preseason game against Carolina, running with that second-team offense and offensive line and stuff. So I think it's important that he get those reps with the guys that will be blocking for him should he get the opportunity to play. But he did make clear that he is still the fourth-string guy. He is still fourth on the depth chart. However, that depth chart is soon to get revamped here. The coaching staff will kind of use this week's practices, and then they'll sit down this weekend and come up with their depth chart moving forward for the first game. So, right now he's sitting at number 4, but the number doesn't really matter, I don't think. This is going to be a running back by committee. We knew that going in. And like Coach has always told me, it's not who starts the game, it's who finishes the game, but he's making a strong case thus far through camp.
The AP preseason poll came out earlier today. Clemson ranked number 5 in the country, Alabama 1, Ohio State 2, Florida State 3, and Southern Cal number 4. Again, doesn't mean a whole lot, but in your estimation, what does it say about this program that given the losses, they're still there at the top of the rankings preseason?
Yeah, I think it says a lot about the program that Dabo Swinney has built, and the respect that Clemson fans like to play the respect card, and the Rodney Dangerfield, we don't get no respect from anybody, that kind of thing. But the fact is, this team, given the losses that they had on offense, is getting national respect from the coaches as well as the Associated Press in their poll. I think 5 is a good place. You don't have the target on your back of being, the 1 or 2 team. And honestly, look, let's be honest. With one playing 3 or 2 or 4 or whatever poll you're looking at in the first game of the season with Alabama and Florida State, chances are Clemson's going to move up regardless after week 2. So, it doesn't mean a whole lot. As I've said, the only poll that really matters is the college football playoff poll, and we've seen how that differs from the AP and coaches polls in the first 3 years of its existence. But to me, it does signal the fact that Clemson fans can't really play the we don't get any respect card anymore. That they're getting respect just by being a dominant team week in, week out, year in, year out.
Zach Lentz joining us here on Clemson Sports Talk. Again, you can check out all his work, clemsonsportstalk.com. And, Zach, in terms of Brent Venables and his mood coming off of the practice field, it was like 1 minute and 48 seconds, was not happy. Is that something that you've seen before where perhaps there's a scenario in which the defense needs a little more motivation, and so even though it may not have been a great day, the coaching staff makes it look like it was a completely terrible day, if that makes sense?
Absolutely. I mean, you're now 3 weeks into the camp. You're finishing up the grind. You're constantly out there hitting the same people, and so I think the coaching staff, they use psychological warfare on their guys. I mean, Brent Venables told us back in at Dabo's media golf outing that he purposefully makes up stories. He purposely goes to the team and says, look, this writer just said that y'all are all awful, that you can't tackle, that you're slow, that you're overrated, when that's not the case. So I think, it was a good opportunity for this team to kind of, mellow out a little bit, to kind of pump the brakes. But, they all do it, and Brent Venables is a master at it.
There you go, Zach Lentz. Follow him on Twitter at Zach Lentz CST. Zach, one final question for you. When you look at the quarterback situation, Dabo Swinney seemed to make it sound like the separation didn't really, again, happen. It may be even closer than it was. Is this still going to be a thing where you expect to see all three guys game one, no doubt about it?
Absolutely, I do. I mean, barring some catastrophic thing, I think that, it's not necessarily a situation where Kelly Bryant has lost the job, but very similar to maybe what we saw in Cole Stout and Deshaun Watson, where ultimately Zaire Cooper and Hunter Johnson are just gaining on him, and it's not that he's done anything to lose the job, but the other guys are just playing better, that they're living up to their ability. So, it wouldn't surprise me, because ultimately it's going to come down to not who performs best in practice, but who can go out there on game day in game conditions in front of 80,000 people and lead this Tiger offense.
There you go, Zach Lentz again on Twitter at Zach Lentz CST. Zach, my man, have a good one. Hope y'all enjoyed the eclipse with the family.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, we did. Y'all have a good one too. We'll talk to you later.
There he is again, ClemsonSportsTalk.com, the website. Check out all the work that Zach Lentz does. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. That's one of the things that we could talk a little bit more about this, obviously, when we come back here on the show. I know that Double O Overton's Orange reached out to me over the weekend. He said, Swanee, we got to talk about the running backs again. I know you guys talked about the running backs, but we got to talk about the running backs again. It's an interesting dynamic that Clemson's in right now with the running back situation. By the way, coming up on the program, 7:20, Larry Penley. We'll talk about Doc Redman. How about Doc taking care of business at the 117th annual U.S. Amateur? Getting it done. We'll talk with Larry Penley at 7:20. Mike Legg joins us from the coast down in Charleston to talk about the Citadel Bulldogs as well. But let's talk a little more about that running back situation, and also let's celebrate with Doc Redman and what he did after this.
Our customers receive the best heating and air conditioning service in South Carolina. Hi, I'm Tim Mosley, and I can make that statement because that's what our customers tell us every day. We call it quality confirmed. Call us at 803-233-7172, and we'll call you when the job is done to confirm we met your expectations. That's quality confirmed. We're Carolina Conditions, and we're committed to meeting your expectations. 803-233-7172. Call us at 803-233-7172.
You've done the research, Jonathan, and decided on a Honda.
And you waited for just the right time to buy, Gary, and now it's here.
The Honda Summerbration Sales Event
at Honda of Columbia.
We're clearing out every 2017 Honda in stock at the lowest prices of the entire year and giving you a hassle-free buying experience.
Don't wait. The Honda Summerbration Sales Event is the time to buy at Honda of Columbia, your friendly family Honda dealer since 1978.
Highway 378 at I-20 and HondaofColumbia.com.
Tiger fans, look no further than the Tiger Sports Shop in Clemson for all your game day gear. Since 1974, they've brought you everything Clemson for the Clemson fan, with quality brand names such as Nike, Under Armour, Antigua, Ping, and many more. From hats to t-shirts to tailgate, the Tiger Sports Shop has all the Clemson apparel a true Tiger fan needs. With 2 convenient game day locations in Tigertown, shop where I shop at I Am Ibrahim's Tiger Sports Shop. They fuel the passion of Tiger fans everywhere. Check them out online, tigersports.com.
Katie, where's your Jergens? My lotion? Here in the shower. In the shower? I use Wet Skin Moisturizer from Jergens. It's a lotion that works with water to instantly lock in moisture from my shower. My skin stays soft and luminous all day without a heavy, sticky feel. It's all-day moisture made simple.
Well, I did always teach you to enjoy the simple things in life. Can I borrow your Jergens Wet Skin Moisturizer?
Of course, Mom.
Jergens, let your beautiful shine.
Cottingham Family Dentistry is proud to announce the opening of their new office located at 3722 Devine Street, and they're welcoming new patients. What makes Cottingham Family Dentistry different? It's in the name, family. They will cater to your needs and the dental needs of your children. Cottingham Family Dentistry offers same-day crowns, dental implants, cosmetic dentistry, including whitening, veneers, and tooth-colored fillings, and many other dental services. If you're searching for an amazing dental home, call 776-4234 or stop by their new office at 3722 Devine Street and become a part of the family at Cottingham Family Dentistry.
From two men and a truck, movers who care. Overnight tonight, the temperatures will drop down to the low 70s with mostly clear skies. Tomorrow, sunny and hot, highs mid-90s, and a few scattered late storms. For Channel 25 ABC Columbia, I'm Chief Meteorologist John Farley.
This report is brought to you by the South Carolina Education Lottery. Summer in South Carolina means it's especially hot outside, so stay cool inside and play the $5 South Carolina Education Lottery Instant Ticket Red Hot Cash for a chance to win up to $125,000. Overall odds 1 in 3.77. Top prize odds 1 in 480,000.
iHeartRadio wants nothing more than to bring you closer to your favorite artists.
This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters.
So we've updated the iHeartRadio app. No, it's an upgrade. All your favorite music and stations, easier to find, getting you closer to the music you love with just a tap.
This is Taylor Momsen from The Pretty Reckless, and this is iHeartRadio.
All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. Download and open the new iHeartRadio app today.
Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk. Join the show in the chat room at clemsonsportstalk.com.
I gotta admit, man, as good as it is to be ranked in the top 5, it's even better to have a little Fat Joe bringing you back in for break. Appreciate that, Lowell, the producer here. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. The hashtag on Twitter, CST Show, at Clemson Sports, at CST Show. First day of school tomorrow for a lot of kids in the Midlands. My kids, my wife just texted me, they're in bed already. You know, summer was awesome when I was a kid. Summer was the bomb. Both of my parents were educators, so they had the summer off for the most part. My dad didn't really because he was an administrator, but I'd go up to the high school. One of the best things about being the son of the principal of a high school that was really close to your house, and I mean really close, like throw a rock from my front yard, I could probably hit the fence to the back of the school. You know what I did in the summer, Lowell? I would ride my bike in the school building. Like, I'd ride over there from my house. My dog, Tippy, would come along with us. It was kind of like, what's the kid's name that was with Lassie? I never watched that show, but Timmy and Lassie, I think. You know, I'd ride my bike. Tippy'd follow me. Tippy'd go into my dad's office. School building was up. You didn't have all this, no dogs in the school, and you can't ride bikes in the school. So I'm cruising up. Let me tell you, you haven't ridden a bike until you've ridden on floor like this, on carpet like this. Riding a bike on some carpet, that's where you do it.
So wait, you got the summer off.
Got the summer off.
To be away from school.
Yes.
And then you spent the summer at the school.
Well, nobody was there.
There's something not right about that.
I was in elementary school, and my dad was the principal of the high school. I didn't hang out at the elementary school. There was also this moment in my life where I thought my dad owned the school. That didn't really click with me until I got a little older.
Sort of did.
Like, I thought he was like a businessman. Thought, this is ours. We've purchased this place. Look how nice it is. There were some perks, though, man, going to the gym and shooting ball and doing all that. I remember the day he retired, and they had, like, his retirement celebration. Me and my buddies, after that was over, we all went up to the gym for one final last hoorah while we still had the key. Yes, let's go squeeze in one more game, fellas. But, yeah, so summer's come and gone, man. The kids are ready for their day. And my daughter tomorrow, first day at kindergarten. That's a big milestone. So I don't think I'll cry. I cannot promise you my wife will not cry. As a matter of fact, I can confirm I will not cry. I may cry tears of joy that summer is over and my kids are back in school and back on a routine. Speaking of on a routine, We're going to talk with his head coach here at 7:20, Larry Penley. Doc Redman on a little routine right now, and that routine is doing work on the golf course. Lowell Redman, just incredible at the 117th U.S. Amateur Championship yesterday with a 37-hole victory over Doug Gim, who is a senior from Texas. Redman, of course, is a sophomore at Clemson. Get this, though. Redman was 2 down with 2 holes to play. On the 17th hole, which was the 35th hole of the match, Redman put in a 50-foot eagle putt. Lowell, we watched it about 4 or 5 times before the show. In my life, I can't recall ever hitting a putt that good, dead center, and if he missed it, if he missed that putt, that thing is going 15 feet by. I mean, I cannot believe he drilled that from 50 feet out. Redman then hit his second shot on the 18th hole to in about 7 feet of the cup, made a putt for birdie, got the match to all square. And then it was on the it was the third consecutive match, as a matter of fact, for Redman that he won on the 18th hole to either win or send the match to extra holes. They went back to the 10th hole for the third time of the day. Redman hit a drive on the 300-yard hole just short of the green. Gim hooked his drive into the trees. After Gim missed a putt for bogey, he conceded the match to Redman, and Redman wins the amateur title. Redman is the number 62 seed overall. It's the second highest seeded player to ever win the U.S. Amateur, by the way, since they began seeding back in 1985. Stephen Fox was 63rd when he won it back in 2012. And Fox, Redman, and Edward Molinaro, I believe, are the only U.S. Amateur champions to reach match play through a playoff. Redman was announced as one of the 10 members of the United States Walker Cup team that will compete against the team from Great Britain and Ireland back in Los Angeles, September the 9th through the 10th. And Redman is the first Clemson golfer to make the Walker Cup team since Kyle Stanley back in 2007. Larry Penley, who will join us coming up at 7:20, said, "I couldn't be more proud of Doc. Doc's a mathematician, which means he never gets ahead of himself. He follows the process, and that's what really helped him, especially when he got behind. He just stayed focused on the course." Going back, though, Doc Redman joins Chris Patton as the only Clemson golfers to ever win the United States Amateur title. And with that, Redman will receive exemptions to play in the Masters, the U.S. Open, the British Open, and he'll have that as long as he maintains amateur status, or if he qualifies for any other means to get into the Opens. They are also automatically qualified for the next 10 U.S. amateurs, providing they keep their amateur status. So technically, Doc Redman, I guess if I understand this correctly, could play in the Masters, the U.S. Open, and the British Open as long as he stays an amateur for the rest of his life, if I understand that right. But he can't turn pro. You could just be here's Doc Redman. He's an account executive at a local law firm, and he golfs on the weekends, and here he is at the Masters again.
No, I'm going pro. I'm making that money, baby.
There he is. There he is. Money the producer over there. That's why I should start calling you Money Man.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Coming back here on the show that shakes the Southland, Cleveland Man will join us. He's on the guest line, or on the phone lines right now. By the way, Zach Lentz joined us earlier via the DNC Trucking and Transport guest line. Always fun catching up with Zach. Stay with us here on the show that shakes the Southland.
Win your trip to our 2017 iHeart Radio Music Festival, hosted by Ryan Seacrest.
Let's get this started.
Over 20 of the greatest performers on the planet. September 22nd and 23rd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Listen to Win Your Trip.
Introducing the new Glade Plug-ins car adjustable fragrance that turns any drive into an adventure. Available in 4 fragrances. Each enhances your drive for up to 60 days. Adventure. We have a fragrance for that. Visit Glade.com or stop by your nearest retailer.
Hi, it's Gary David. Roof issues, go local. Choose a local South Carolina contractor. I suggest Mayhem Roofing. Mayhem Roofing, top-rated customer service and high satisfaction rates. They'll take care of you throughout the process. Whether it's a roof repair, which, by the way, they are thoroughly versed in the insurance process, no surprises at the end from your insurance company, or a total roof replacement, Mayhem Roofing. They're the folks to call. Number to call, 855-GO-MAYHEM. That's 855-GO-MAYHEM. And find out more online at mayhemroofing.com. That's mayhemroofing.com.
Attention, anyone who's suffering from lower back pain. Right now, HealthSource is offering our listeners an absolutely free back pain consultation on a first-come, first-served basis by calling 803-218-9047. Our doctors can find the root cause of your lower back pain and show you how to get well fast and stay well longer. No more pain. No more feeling worn out. Essentially, no more not feeling like yourself. Call 803-218-9047.
At OPEX Columbia, we aim to inspire, empower, and challenge individuals to reach their highest potential. We take this mission very seriously and sincerely desire to help people achieve the goals they set out for themselves. OPEX Columbia is where you will excel no matter what your goal, whether that be health and wellness, body composition, or being a competitive athlete. We are conveniently located downtown across from the South Carolina Baseball Stadium. Contact us at opexcolumbia.com and mention this ad to receive 10% off your 3-part assessment.
For more information about contests on this station, go to foxsportsradio1400.com/rules.
You're listening to Clemson Sports Talk with my dad, Lawton Swan, on Fox Sports Radio 1400 and on the iHeart Radio app.
A record of the delightful piece they're going to play this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, 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 your attention, please. Your attention, please. Attention, please.
And now the moment we've been waiting for is here.
I have something to tell you.
Lawton Swan, Lola producer, hanging out here. The show that shakes the Southland. Oh, you got the little smile going on over there. You like that, huh?
I'm digging it. I'm digging it. You know, Lowell the intern was great.
Yeah.
And I think it could have been a great gimmick that could have gone on forever. I really do.
Yeah. Here comes our 64-year-old intern. I'm 83. We're here for the show that shakes the Southland.
Yeah, I really do think that could have gone on forever. But I like how that sounds.
Change it.
Lowell the producer.
Go
I
to
like
Lowell
how
the
it
producer
sounds.
on Twitter. Will it fit? Is it too long?
It's probably too long.
You know, Twitter, what a bunch of stingy, what a Scrooge company they are, right?
150 characters. 15
letters in your name. Good gracious. We should just create something called T, just the letter T, and you get one username. We have 26 users, and they get to tweet one character at a time. It won't be much to it. You know what people will say when it starts off? I just don't understand that T. I don't know what he's doing over there. I go on there, but people just post letters.
I'll be honest, that's how I was about joining Twitter. I never used Twitter.
Everybody's first tweet is so random. Everybody, just checking this thing out. And there's the whole site that'll show you all of the first tweets. I mean, we should literally...
I love the celebrity ones. They find the celebrities that did their first tweet, and it's always very entertaining.
I mean, yeah, I can remember thinking, what is this? And then once you understand Twitter... It's really cool. Twitter is a community, and you follow the people you want to hear from. But when they talk, it's like, or when they tweet, it's like they're yelling on their front porch, and their friends can hear them. And then if you hear something that you think is neat, you can retweet it so that other people who follow you can see it.
I think it's very unique in that you can shape your Twitter however you want to shape it. So, like, obviously, the majority of my timeline has people involved with Clemson football and college football and things like that. So that's most of the news that I see on my feed.
Right.
I think it's very unique in the way that you can shape it.
Well, and then if somebody tweets something that I don't like, you can mark it and say, I don't want to see stuff like this. And then it streamlines it even more. So I love it. I love it. Again, on Twitter, it's at Clemson Sports. That's the best way to follow us.
I don't know why we're plugging Twitter right now. It does a good job of plugging itself, but... doesn't need our help.
Indeed it does. Joining us now, though, Cleveland Man chiming in. Cleveland Man, did you get a chance to partake in the eclipse today?
Yes, I must have fell asleep.
Are you kidding?
Man, you know I'm a retired guy, so when I woke up, my wife went out there and looked at it. I said, well, congratulations. Lord, let me tell you, man.
Yes, sir.
This was a great weekend for me.
Okay.
My daughter's getting married in April.
Congratulations.
Yeah, my wife and my daughter went and looked for dresses this weekend. I just happened to, excuse me first, to the best, the number one sports talk show in the nation. I don't know if this was on your show or what. I got up Sunday morning, turned on my TV, flipping ESPNU. Did you hear about it, Lawton?
No, what happened?
They had the marathon at Clemson.
Oh, yeah.
Football.
Yeah, I saw
From
that.
game 1 to, I went to bed this morning at 7. I watched every game, and they showed the whole game.
Wow.
I mean, they started yesterday morning. I'm like, okay, I'm wait a minute, hold up. The next game, hold up. Lord, it lasts 24 hours.
That's
24 hours of Clemson football to the loss. I mean, I can believe it. I could not believe it.
Did you watch them all, Cleveland Man? You watched them all?
Lord, and I just woke up. I go, Lord, and I am serious. Lord, I was in the pajamas. I was watching the game. I didn't watch the news or nothing. I can believe it. I'm like, no, there's something wrong with me. I said, maybe I'm watching the Florida game. I mean, Florida State, the Georgia Tech. Even the little scrubs, they had them on the TV. I'm a fanatic. I can believe it a lot. And I'm like, no, what am I doing? I go to sleep. I wake. The game's still on.
I love
From game 1 to the national championship. That was the best TV I've watched in a while.
It's a heck of a run, wasn't it?
Heck of a run, man. I wish everybody else could see. I recorded the whole thing. Maybe in the next 5 years, I'll watch it again.
There you go,
But
Cleveland
right
Man.
now, I'm drunk on Clemson football, baby.
I hear you, buddy.
Go Tigers.
Cleveland Man. I saw it was on, and I didn't flip over to it, but I kept seeing people in. It's funny. We're talking about Twitter. This is a perfect segue here from Cleveland Man's call about people watching that. Your timeline, because you follow a lot of people that watch Clemson or talk about Clemson. Lowell, I'm sure you had moments where in your timeline in the past 24 hours, people are like, "How in the world did we not? What in the world were we thinking? Golly, we got lucky there that they missed that field goal." And you're like, huh? But yeah, they had the entire season on the ESPNU, replaying the entire. I saw some people say they could have left out the Pitt game. That would have been all right.
I did watch a little bit of the Pitt game, just because I wanted to, kind of see what went wrong and
take the pain.
But I'm not one that will usually come in here and talk about the officiating. That was one of the worst officiating football games I've ever watched, and that's not coming.
Game?
Yeah, and that's not coming from just a Clemson perspective. It was very poorly officiated.
I don't remember it per se. I'd have to go back. What's the call that you'll?
Well, there was one point where Pitt had like 4 third and longs on one drive.
Okay.
And every time they threw the ball,
Clemson
got called for pass interference.
I do remember that.
And that led to a touchdown drive. And I remember, because I was in the stadium, I remember the fans booed for like the rest of the half. It was pretty intense.
Well, and Clemson's worked on cleaning that up. One of the things they've done is the defensive backs are now playing with boxing gloves on their hands. Oh, now I wish the people could see you today. Lowell I had regular glasses with me today for some odd reason. Did I have them on my head when I came in the building?
I think so.
Lowell just put on his solar glasses. Are those ISO certified, Lowell, or did you burn your retinas?
I may have burned my retinas a little bit. I'm not quite sure.
Now, did you and the family sit out on the front yard, the front lawn there at the palatial?
We had chairs. We sat on the lawn. This is really weird doing this because I can't see a thing through these, and so I'm just kind of looking in your
A
general
cold
direction.
beverage? A cold beverage, perhaps?
I just had Sprite. I drank Sprite.
Cold?
It was cold.
So cold beverage.
It was a cold beverage. It was a cold beverage.
I drink Sprite cold. I've seen some really funny tweets out there today. I just saw a Hostess cake eclipsing the sun. I've seen the Death Star eclipsing the sun.
Did you see Hostess put out saying something is now the official snack of the solar eclipse, and the Moon Pie Twitter quoted it and said,
laugh out loud. Okay.
LOL, okay.
I saw that. That's pretty cool. I saw one with the Death Star. I saw one with Clemson's logo slowly going over Alabama's logo. The two seals of the universities. One of the best responses, though, that I saw to that was actually, I don't know if I can see it on my Facebook page real quick. I'll try to grab it before the break. It was Clemson's logo again going over Alabama's logo, but the quote said, somebody said, this, whatever, and somebody's like, yeah, it is a rare event. Yeah, something to that regard. I can't remember exactly. I'm kind of sad that I can't find it. That's why I like Twitter better than Facebook. 803-978-1832. I'll find it during the break, and I'll read you the quote because I did have to chuckle. Don't forget Larry Penley at 7:20, Mike Legg to talk the Citadel at 7:32.
Mid-Carolina Credit Union is your member-owned and community-driven credit union with the technology to make your purchases easier and safer. MCCU offers mobile wallet, and as a member, you no longer need a debit card. Every in-store purchase can be done via an app on your smartphone. It's the free, secure, and convenient way to make purchases. Visit midcarolinacu.com to find out more. See a representative for details on all of our offerings insured by the NCUA and Equal Housing Lender. NMLS number 403334.
Mid-Carolina Credit Union, our community, our focus.
Need custom shirts, hats, or uniforms? How about promotional giveaways for your business or organization? Need fast turnaround times? Look no further than Meridian Printing and Promotions. Located in Lexington, they provide an in-house art department, in-house screen printing, and in-house embroidery services to the Midlands and beyond. For the absolute best quality products and services, contact Meridian Printing and Promotions, 785-4990. Check them out online, mbspromo.com.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat and Place. Just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat and Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
Love it raw? For the freshest sushi in town, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, 807 Gervais Street in the Vista. Sakatumi's flavorful grill for non-sushi fans features the Kobe burger, filet and lobster, chicken hibachi, and more. Fresh sushi, flavorful grill, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, sakifresh.com.
Hey guys, Lawton Swan here. I was hanging out in the backyard with my son Mason the other day, and he said, Dad, you're the best father ever. I was like, what makes you say that, son? He said, when I go outside to play now, I don't get eaten up by the bugs anymore. Imagine that, me, a hero, when all I did was just a couple of weeks ago call Trey Powell at Mosquito Joe with their routine service plan. No more bugs and no more bites. Make yourself the family hero. Call Mosquito Joe today, 803-223-7916. Outside is fun again.
They'll challenge your authority. They'll try to break your will. They'll push you to the edge of your sanity. Because that's what kids do. But this car is your territory, not theirs. Defend it. Who makes the payments? Who cleans it? Who drives it? You do. That's who. And in here, your word is law. So when you say you won't move until everyone's buckled up, you won't budge an inch. Until you hear that click. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. For more information, visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
Mothers Against Drunk Driving supports victims of drunk driving, drug driving, and underage drinking at no charge. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org.
From the E.F. Martin Heating and Air Studios, this is Fox Sports Radio 1400. WCOS Columbia. Available anywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app.
Fox Sports Trending now.
We start in the NFL with the Denver Broncos today, officially named Trevor Siemian as the team's starting quarterback. Vance Joseph, the team's head coach, on the move.
So it's a permanent decision. Now, obviously, outside of injury, that's different. But as far as Trevor being our guy, he's our guy. And that's why, time was not a issue. It was just getting it right, so we're not backpedaling in 2 weeks.
He beat out Paxton Lynch, Siemian did, for the starting job. Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer told reporters today they practiced inside because of the eclipse. Zimmer had 8 surgeries on his eye because of a torn retina. Says, quote, "I have one good retina. I can't lose 2, end quote. With TrueCar, you can find out what other people in your area paid for the same car you're looking for, new or used. Visit TrueCar to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Dodgers ace Clayton Kershaw to make a rehab assignment on Saturday. White Sox lead the Twins in the 5th, 6-1. I'm Dan Butt.
It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan.
Ready, set,
Just call me Swanee.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
It is hour number 2. That's prime time right here on Fox Sports Radio and iHeart Radio. Lawton Swan, Lowell, the producer.
You all about that action, boss?
All about that action, boss. You know, the solar eclipse today's got me fired up. I got my sunglasses on in the studio. Those glasses are pretty incredible. I mean, the way it was neat. It kind of looked like the moon. We see the moon all the time. I don't know enough about the celestial bodies surrounding the Earth, but I think the part of the eclipse, Lowell, that made it where I was just kind of like, isn't the concept basically of how the moon gets its shape, and this could be way off base, doesn't the moon get its shape because of the sun, the light of the sun being blocked by the earth? Isn't that what shapes the shadow on the moon that gives us the perception of a half moon and a quarter moon? Or am I wrong on that? Kind of like the reverse. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the sun is on the other side of the world, and the light that we are seeing on the face of the moon comes from what the earth is blocking of the sun's light. Or am I wrong? Do I need to pull out a couple of lamps here and a basketball and show you what I'm talking about?
This says the moon appears to change shape because we see different amounts of the lit part as the moon orbits Earth. When the moon is between the Earth and the sun, the lit side is hidden from us. I don't know. That's what I found when I Googled.
That's a full moon. I mean, that's a new moon, right?
Sure.
Is that not what a new moon is?
I don't know. I do sports. I don't do the moon.
What do you mean you don't do the moon? You did the moon all day with your family out front and watched it cut in front of the sun.
Yeah, that was different. I didn't have to know anything about it. I just watched it happen.
Well, there goes the science edition of Clemson Sports Talk for you. By the way,
aren't you Bill Nye anyways?
I'm somewhat like a Bill Nye, just much cooler, I would say. I've never worn a bow tie. Have you worn a bow tie?
No, but I totally would wear a bow tie.
I wouldn't. I totally wouldn't. It's not my style, man. It's not my style. 803-978-1832. Again, congratulations to Clemson's Doc Redman, becoming the second Clemson golfer to win the U.S. Amateur Championship, coming up on the program tonight at 7:20. We'll talk with his head golf coach, Larry Penley, 7:20 here on Clemson Sports Talk, to talk about Doc Redman. What an incredible comeback for Redman. You talk about intestinal fortitude and all of that it takes to fight back. I saw some people comparing it to Clemson's come from behind victory against Alabama. Here you are down. You're in the latter stages of the match, and you play your best golf. Eagle and 2 birdies to close things out and win it. Larry Penley at 7:20. Tar Hizzle on the line with us tonight to talk about a little college football action. Tar Hizzle, what's up?
Man, what's going on, fellas? You know, the eclipse is come and gone, but the best thing happened to me last night.
Okay.
You know, you get done, long day Sunday, doing a ton of chores, getting work finished up. It wasn't enough that I got to see my little 14-year-old learn how to bush hog and drive the tractor and do all that. I mean, she takes it to a whole nother level. I get done wrapping everything up, cleaning up the tractor, come on in the house. What do I see? She's sitting there watching the Miami 30-by-30 and looks at me and says, "Daddy, them Tar Heels are going to wear Cal out first week, ain't they?" They ain't nothing better than seeing your kids get fired up for college football. And, I mean, the one thing I'll say after all the things she's done athletically and everything else, the one thing that keeps her fired up is to watch those Miami 30-by-30s. And she said, "Daddy, they ran their mouth, didn't they?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am, they did." She goes, "But they backed up every ounce of it on the field, didn't they?" I said, "Not a lot of people could shut them up." I mean, that's what college football is all about, even to the fact that the Wolfpack tweeted out that he was getting ready or something like that, sitting around, and at least he wasn't at the NCAA's fighting for whatever else. And you know, the NC State alumni apologized officially for the little cut they threw out there that at least he, went to class and everything.
I saw that. I did see that, yeah.
I mean, what is happening to our world when you can't talk a little trash and run your mouth a little bit about people cheating or not cheating or whatever else?
It's a good point. That's a good point, Tar Hizzle, man. Hey, looking forward to the college football season kicking off, man. Thanks for being a part of it.
Y'all be good, man. I can't wait to hear you guys. Like I said, I'll have to give you credit. I mean, you're ACC, so I kind of can appreciate it. The best show in the Southland is my man Lawton Swan, even though he's a Clemson Tiger and not the real deal, the Tar Heel.
But
you do a good job, brother.
I love it, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Tar Hizzle there being a part of the program here tonight. Again, talking about the ACC and this conference right now. Again, five teams from the Atlantic Coast Conference ranked inside the preseason AP top 25. 2 of the top 5 teams, though, in the AP top 5, with Florida State at number 3, Clemson at number 5. The others are 16 Louisville, 18 Miami, number 21 Virginia Tech. North Carolina and Pitt receive votes outside the top 25. Of course, Tar Hizzle's North Carolina Tar Heels on the outside looking in, trying to work their way into the rankings this season. But, Lowell, when you look at that top 25, when you talk about the AP poll, again, we mentioned it, doesn't mean a whole lot. But last season on this episode, we talked about overrated and underrated. Teams we expected to maybe finish higher than they are in the polls, and teams we expected to perhaps finish lower than they are in the polls. I'll start with the team that, quite frankly, I don't know I believe in just yet, okay? I'll start with a team that I know has talent, but they're going to have to prove it to me. And I get the fact that they are most likely the team that is going to represent the Pac-12, and that would be Southern Cal. But with Southern Cal still, and when you think about the fact that they have now gone through their sanctions, they're ready to rock and roll, move forward. They're still who they once were, I guess, in terms of brand recognition. When you think about that football team, again, they've got matchups against Stanford and Texas, who we don't know a whole lot about what Texas is going to look like this year. That there's a chance that if Texas is lucky, that they could be maybe a lot better than expected. They got a matchup against Notre Dame. They got the end of the season matchup against UCLA. I'm interested to see exactly what Sam Darnold can do with this Southern Cal offense, and if the hype is real, and if they'll be able to hold on to that top 4 ranking and get into the college football playoff. Of the teams in the top 5, the one that I would tend to say may have the least shot of getting there of the 5 teams, including Clemson, I think it's probably Southern Cal. I just don't know if they're going to be as good as advertised. Who would you have in there as a team that you would say is maybe overrated?
Well, there's a few. I'll just do one right now.
Yeah. Just give me your most overrated team. And again, I'm not telling you that I don't think they're better than some of the other teams that are behind them, but I just don't know if they'll be where they are today at the end of the season.
I'm going with Oklahoma at number 7. Yes, they do bring back Baker Mayfield. Bring your quarterback back is always a pretty big deal, especially when they're a Heisman finalist, or was he a Heisman finalist? I believe he was.
I think he
or
was.
He was very close.
I think he was 2 years ago. I don't think he was last year.
No Joe Mixon, no Samaje Perine, no D.D. Westbrook. The 3 biggest weapons on offense for Oklahoma are
How about
gone.
no Bob Stoops? I mean, Lincoln Riley's there, new
right.
coach. You've got that change.
Their defense has not been good in a couple of years. I don't think that's going to get any better now. I don't see Oklahoma finishing the season inside the top 10.
Those would be 2 pretty good picks there, looking at the top 5. Again, when you think about the Texas Longhorns and what their fan base expects, I think that they're a group that early on in the season, if they're playing well, if they're playing good football, and Tom Herman's kind of got his system going, which you've seen be successful at Ohio State. You saw it be successful at Houston. I don't know if there's enough juice in the orange, so to speak, for them to squeeze it out of that offense this year. But they're another team that I think will threaten Southern Cal early on in the season, because I just don't know what Southern Cal has. And I know Texas recruits well, and I know that Charlie Strong did a good job recruiting. And I believe if Charlie Strong had another year, this would have been a successful year. You love Shane Buechele at quarterback for them. You put Tom Herman there with Buechele. You think about what that offense might be. They've got the talent. That's a game to keep your eye on, because it's still early in the season for Southern Cal. If I had to give you just one more, up high, maybe above the top 15, that I think right now is potentially overrated, I would probably go Michigan. Michigan's another team that, for me, I've never truly, as good as he's been, I've never really been sold on Coach Harbaugh. There's just these guys and these coaches that get teams to the NCAA tournament consistently, but always fall off in the Sweet 16. Never can quite get to the Elite 8, or maybe do every once in a while, but not much. I get that same vibe from Harbaugh. I think he's a really good coach. I think he's a weirdo that recruits very well. I think he brings in a ton of talent. But I don't know if he's ever going to get over that hump. I don't know. It's like he gets right to the edge. Right to the edge of not just greatness, but a championship. And then somehow manages to shoot himself in the foot. They opened up the season. You mentioned it earlier with that matchup against Florida. Tough games against Penn State. Tough game against Ohio State. Wisconsin's still good. Maryland's improved. They're going to be rowing the doggone boat at Minnesota this year with P.J. Fleck in the house. Row that boat. I don't know what Michigan State's going to be. Just you talk about a program that I don't know where they are, but yeah, Michigan's a team inside the top 15. I don't know that I believe they're going to finish inside the top 15. And I could be wrong. Maybe they run the table and they're the most impressive ball club in 2017, 2018. Maybe we're singing Hail to the Victors. But I think they are a team that could easily be, 8-4 at the end of the year, as they could be 11-1. I think they're one of those teams that I would not pencil them in to finishing higher in the polls than they are right now. I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't have the confidence in them. Love what they've got defensively. Love what they brought back this year. But nope, not sold. Not sold.
I think I'm going to go, and this is a team actually on the outskirts of the top 25. I don't think they have any, or right there in the top 25, barely. I don't think they have any business being in the top 25, period.
Who?
Tennessee.
Okay.
They were a disaster last year. That looked like it hurt.
They finished the year terribly, yes.
Disaster last year, and they lose Josh Dobbs, who was the only good thing that they had going for them. I don't believe in Butch Jones. You talk about not believing in a coach. I don't believe in Butch Jones. I don't think he can turn it around. And they just lost one of their top receivers, which we will talk about in the College Sports Corner, to an injury for about 8 weeks.
I did see that, yeah.
I don't see Tennessee finishing the season inside the top 25.
Well, and they're also a team that's had discipline issues both on and off the field at times. They've been a little bit rogue in some respects, but this is the make or break year. You mentioned it. This is absolutely a make or break year for Butch Jones. It's either win or go home at this point, I think, for him. I just don't know. I mean, at 25, the SEC, I think, had 6 teams in, if I remember correctly, of the AP poll. I mean, where do they finish, in your opinion, right now, if you had to just guess in the pecking order of the SEC East? I think at best they're third.
I think third at best. Yeah,
I think best they're third. So, I mean, I think they would be hard-pressed to get to second or even to win the conference for sure. But I wouldn't go with rating them, quote, overrated, because they're very low in the poll. But I see where you're coming from in that respect. You're just saying you wouldn't have put them in your top 25 at all.
No, not at all.
How about an underrated team? Give us one underrated team that you think could get it cooking and could finish pretty well. I'll tell you the one I think. I think the Miami Hurricanes. I absolutely I love the hire from the moment they got Mark Richt down there. He has a quiet confidence about him this season that I really hadn't seen. Mark Walton at running back, we talked about him a couple of days ago, just the job that he does rushing the football for them. And when you can win at the line of scrimmage, and when you can win on the offensive line of scrimmage and open up holes for a guy like that and give him plenty of running room, look out. I think Miami is a team who, coming into this year where they are ranked, has a chance, again, an early season matchup against Florida State. But listen to their schedule after that, okay? So they play Bethune-Cookman, Arkansas State, then that Florida State matchup in week 3. Toledo, Duke, Georgia Tech, Syracuse, at NC State, Virginia Tech, Notre Dame, Virginia, and Pitt. That's a very doable back end of the schedule. Conceivably, they could lose that Florida State game and be favored the rest of the way. And I don't think that's an unrealistic thing. They might be favored actually in every game but the Florida State game right now. Would you favor? I mean, tell me the team on there that you would put ahead of them. Would you favor Notre Dame over Miami coming into this season? I wouldn't. Notre Dame comes in off a 4-8 year.
Speaking of not trusting a coach.
Speaking of teams that are on this list, I mean, I think it's fair to say out of their 12 games, Miami's going to be favored in 11. And if you win the games you're favored in and get to the ACC championship, dude, you're gonna be much higher, in my opinion, than 18 at the end of the season.
I think I'm going with Washington State at number 24. I think they have the potential to go 10-2 this season. Not a particularly tough schedule. They could start the year 4-1. They could get up to 6-1 on the year. I could see them going 9-3, 10-2, and finishing inside the top 15. Getting Luke Falk back at quarterback is huge for Mike Leach. Talk about a make-or-break year. This is a big year for Mike Leach and Washington State. I think they deliver.
I think that 2 losses is probably a certainty with Southern Cal and Washington on that schedule. When we return, Larry Penley, head men's golf coach at Clemson, joins us on this show that shakes the Southland.
Win your trip to our 2017 iHeart Radio Music Festival, hosted by Ryan Seacrest.
Let's get this started.
Over 20 of the greatest performers on the planet. September 22nd and 23rd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Listen to Win Your Trip.
Ever mean to say, okay, but it sounded just okay? The new Voice Bite app gets your point across by using your voice. Share socially, send private messages, and interact with your favorite radio show or live event. Download Voice Bite from the app stores now.
For 28 years, the professional staff of the Hobbs Group and Hobbs Group Advisors has been dedicated to helping others achieve their financial goals by delivering quality, objective financial and accounting solutions to a diverse client base of individuals and businesses all over South Carolina. We offer tax and audit services, bookkeeping, payroll, litigation support, employee benefits, personal financial planning, investment management, and insurance services. Please call us at 803-799-0555 or visit our website, hobbscpa.com, to learn more about our people and services.
Have you been thinking about sprucing up your yard, debating between pine straw or mulch? Call my friends at Carolina Turfgrass to get your yard looking as great as mine right now. I chose to go with pine straw this year, and it looks incredible. Carolina Turfgrass is conveniently located at 5400 Augusta Road in Lexington, and if you need your order delivered, they can take care of that too. In addition, Carolina Turfgrass carries a wide variety of turfs, including Centipede and Bermuda. For unmatched quality and service, call Carolina Turfgrass, 446-6525. Look for Carolina Turfgrass on Highway 1 in Lexington.
Ever had that small crack in your windshield that turned into a very large crack overnight? Hi, I'm Ray.
And I'm Mary Ann, and we're with Absolute Glass.
We are your only local high-end auto glass specialist in the Midlands, used by high-end car dealerships. And we absolutely have you covered.
Whether it's a small or big crack, you can be confident in our certified technicians to get the job done right the first time.
Visit AbsoluteGlassInc.com for a quote or call 951-7200.
That's AbsoluteGlassInc.com or 951-7200.
Win your trip to our 2017 iHeart Radio Music Festival, hosted by Ryan Seacrest.
Let's go!
Over 20 of the greatest performers on the planet. September 22nd and 23rd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Listen to Win Your Trip.
Looking for South Carolina's favorite country? You'll find it at 97.5 WCOS.
It is the show that shakes the Southland. Clemson Sports Talk here, Fox Sports Radio, iHeart Radio, and live on ClemsonSportsTalk.com. And we're joined now by Clemson men's golf coach Larry Penley to talk about Doc Redman and the job that he did yesterday. A little bit like the eclipse today, you might say, Coach. I mean, he comes from behind and comes up with the title. That's an incredible victory for him at the U.S. Amateur yesterday.
One of the most exciting golf matches I've ever seen. It was pretty crazy.
You know, I've watched the 50-foot eagle putt. I can't tell you how many times. I wouldn't even know now. I watched it during the break a few minutes ago. I've played a lot of rounds of golf. I've had fun just trying to make a putt like that. To do it at that moment on that stage, dead center, just speak to the people that maybe don't know Doc Redman about what it takes and the intestinal fortitude you have to make that putt.
Well, I can assure you there's not 1 ounce of give up in his entire body. And I was sitting here in my living room watching it with my family, and, you know, he goes 2 down after 16, and he hits that shot on 17. And to Doug Gim's credit, he hit a great 3-wood in the 17 as well. It was a little hot, and it just ran over the back of the green. But we're sitting there talking, and I'm going, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if he didn't make this putt. And if you remember back into the middle of the backside, his putter kind of went cold. You know, he made so many putts in the first 18,
And then the second 18, he really didn't make a whole lot. And I really felt like he was due to make something. And, no need to leave it short. You're 2 down with 2 to play. Gim's got about a 6-footer for birdie. Get it on the line, make a good stroke, and let's see if this thing will go in. And, boy, he did, and it did. And then the birdie on 18. I had no doubt he was making the putt on 18. And, he left it in a perfect spot, just a slight right-to-left breaker. And when he poured it right in the middle, I think it took all the wind out of Gim's sails, and I think he was a little bit in shock. So, anyway, Doc's tough. He's tough as nails. He stays his process, never worries about outcome. He just continues to hit every shot the very best he can, and, man, what a great way to play golf.
Man, it was incredible. The other thing, too, and I think we should have learned this watching Tiger Woods many years ago, age in golf is not something that necessarily determines the outcome. But when you saw a senior from Texas like Doug Gim going up against, a young guy like Doc Redman, you tend to lean towards an older guy winning that. But Doc just played with a steadiness that you only see from guys that are mature beyond their years.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is the fact that he's a mathematician. And I know that sounds odd, but you don't. There are no shortcuts in mathematics. You have to stay a plan. You have to stay a process. You can't jump over steps. It's a long, drawn-out deal, and golf is that similar type of journey. There are no shortcuts in golf. You can't cut across. You have to continue to get better. You have to continue to work on certain parts of your game. You have to continue to dissect your ball striking, your putting, and your chipping and pitching, and just continue to try to make those the very best you can. And then hopefully when you get into competition, you can tie it all in together and you'll shoot a good score. Doc gets that. He totally understands that. And it's really fun to coach. It's really fun to watch. Never does outcome get in the way of his process and his plan. And he sent me a text the other night. We had some pretty good text coming back from Clemson to California. But our funny joke, and it kind of started in the Western, survive and advance, and it turned into S&A. S&A, he makes the Sweet 16 in the Western, then he wins his match, and then he wins his next match, and now he's playing a first-team All-American who was the NCAA Freshman of the Year in the finals of the Western. And he kept sending me text, S&A, survive and advance. We kept doing it at the USAM. Even when he almost didn't make it through the medal play portion to get to match play, he knows he's in a playoff the next morning. He's going to bed, but he's still there. So he sends me a text, well, I have survived one more day. I get to play again tomorrow. And that's just the kind of mindset he has. There's no pressure. He's as cool a cucumber as he appears. But it's all about his process and his plan. So
Clemson head coach Larry Penley here on Clemson Sports Talk tonight, talking about Doc Redman again, bringing home the 117th U.S. amateur title. Do you think he understands what this means? Because, like, for me, I was 12 in 1989 when Chris Patton won, and I remember seeing Patton at the Masters, and I remember the fanfare behind that. Do you think Doc knows what this will mean for him in terms of, the lexicon of Clemson golf and the future of Clemson golf?
He won't until he gets through with the Walker Cup. They're going to keep him for another week out in Los Angeles. Actually, he's coming back. He's trying to get back right now. Then he's going to drive to Clemson tomorrow. Classes start Wednesday. If I have a beef with the USGA, they are taking the Walker Cuppers for a week and a half. He's going to miss 8 days of class.
Yeah.
And there's one mid-am on there. There's two other guys that have exhausted their eligibility. The rest of the players are in college. And, we're going to have to sit down with the USGA at some point in time and let them – they need to realize these are students. These aren't guys that are, millionaires working jobs that can just blow 10 days off. We got to get Doc back. We got to get him in his classes, get him comfortable. He's going to miss our first tournament, which is at the farm in Dalton, Georgia, and he's not very happy about that. He was almost apologetic last night, and I'm going, you need to go ahead and get that out of your mind. You're not going to apologize for making the Walker Cup, But that's just the way he is, and he knows his teammates are counting on him, and he knows he's not going to be there. So after he gets through with the Walker Cup, we're really going to have to sit down and go over everything that's about to happen, because it's going to be crazy. Not maybe so much for the fall. Our fall season ends in Alpharetta the third week of October, and then we're done. But once he gets that invitation in December from that tournament about 2 hours south, his world's going to be really turned upside down for a while. But it's not just that one. We're going to have to make plans for the U.S. Open. We're going to have to make plans for the British Open.
Yeah.
The British Open's in Carnoustie. You want to go to Carnoustie and play in the British Open. And there's, I want to say, between 4 and 6 PGA Tour exemptions, other exemptions that are going to be there. I wish you could defer those until later on in his career, when he really might need them. But we're really going to have to sit down and kind of plan some things out, see what he wants to do.
Well, Coach, listen.
Just how much. Do what now?
I was going to say best of luck to you. I know you got a lot more phone calls coming in, and congratulations to Doc. We always appreciate your time, though, being a part of it here on Clemson Sports Talk.
My pleasure. I appreciate you having me.
There he is, Clemson men's golf head coach Larry Penley. How great is that, man? Can you imagine? And Coach Penley's right. It's a grind for these guys. When you win this thing, and then all of a sudden he's a sophomore. Still got the golf season to come. He's got the Masters and the British Open and all the travel and everything. And he's just a college kid. I kind of agree. I like the exemption idea down the road, after he's done with college. Let some of that stuff carry over. Congratulations again to the entire Clemson Tiger men's golf program, Coach Larry Penley, and, of course, Doc Redman, winner of the 117th U.S. Amateur Championship. We're back in 3.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman-Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat & Place, just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat & Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
When a stroke happens, every second counts. So don't drive and call 911 to get to the emergency department as soon as possible. At Lexington Medical Center, we're pleased to serve our community. As a certified primary stroke center, our acute stroke team rapidly evaluates patients and provides them with the fastest treatment possible. This specialized care limits the chance of brain damage and gives stroke patients a better chance of full recovery. Act quickly at the first sign of a stroke and count on the Stroke Center at Lexington Medical Center to provide you with the best possible care.
Lawton Swan here, and I know in sports we're always talking about the big guy. Well, let me tell you, when you're buying a car, you don't need that. What you need to do is head down to Orangeburg to my good friends at Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac. 4 generations of family-owned business right there at Ferry Chevrolet. No dock fees, no tricks, straightforward pricing in a low-pressure environment you'll love. Check them out online, ferrychevrolet.com, or call them 803-536-1600. It's Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac, just a short 30-minute drive off of exit 145A in Orangeburg.
Looking to get away without having to spend a whole day traveling to your destination? Ocean Reef Resort offers 1, 2, 3, and 4-bedroom accommodations with the comforts of home and boasts the best oceanfront views. Swim in their sparkling indoor and outdoor pools, relax in their hot tubs, try out the Adventure Oasis pool with adult-sized water slide, or just float down the 250-foot lazy river. Visit us at oceanreefmyrtlebeach.com or call us at 1-866-935-0530 to learn more.
From 2 Men and a Truck, movers who care. Overnight tonight, the temperatures will drop down to the low 70s with mostly clear skies. Tomorrow, sunny and hot, highs mid-90s, and a few scattered late storms. For Channel 25 ABC Columbia, I'm Chief Meteorologist John Farley.
This report is brought to you by Tripping.com, the site with 12 million vacation rentals and hotels. Go to Tripping.com to book lake cabins, condos, beach houses, city apartments, and more. To find a place to stay, go to Tripping.com today.
Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk, your iHeart Radio home for the 2016 College Football National Champion, Clemson Tigers.
Kane is in the building.
Oh yeah, I like a little theme from Ballers there with Drake and Lil Wayne, Lil the producer. You always know how to get it moving here, man. Late in the show, I like that. Mike Legg joins us here on Clemson Sports Talk. Follow him on Twitter at Mike Legg Tweets. That's at Mike Legg Tweets. He's the host of Leg Up with Mike Legg on ESPN Radio, 98.9, 94.7, and 910 AM down in Charleston. And, of course, he's got you covered on the Citadel Bulldogs here tonight. Mike, man, welcome in.
Hey, Lawton, nice to be with you. How you doing?
Oh, man, doing good. I'll tell you what, the closer we get to college football season, the better I feel, I'll be honest with you. But, you know, sitting here tonight and looking through and thinking about the Citadel's year last year, you know, starting out 10-0, unfortunately, here in the state, the Bulldogs probably a little bit overshadowed by Clemson's run and the job that the Tigers did. But what a great beginning for the Bulldogs in terms of their, you know, not just their program underneath Coach Thompson, but certainly to go out to that start before losing to North Carolina and then being eliminated from the FCS playoffs with Wofford certainly speaks volumes about where that program was last year for sure.
Yeah, we kind of thought that things were headed in the right direction, especially from a recruiting perspective. I remember having some conversations when Mike Houston was here, and I said, when you got the job, what did you identify as your biggest need? And he said, first of all, we had to turn up the intensity on the toughness here. It wasn't where it needed to be, and it, you know, the tempo that the football team was setting didn't necessarily match what was going on the campus. And so he said, first of all, we had to kind of get a little bit of a culture change. He said, but team speed was another big thing. And we've got to turn this thing around in the recruiting game, and I think they did. And I think every recruiting class has been as good as they've had, and they tend to get several guys from each recruiting class to kind of step up. So they've certainly turned the corner. They'd never won back-to-back championships in the Southern Conference, and now they've done that. So now what do? I think they talk a lot about sustainability. They have to try to maintain that year in and year out, which is not always easy to do.
Mike, when I was a kid, we used to go down to the Citadel for some football games, especially when they were taking on the Wofford Terriers. And I think about the unique environment that having the Corps cadets there puts into the game days and all of that. Just in terms of the dedication that fan base has, both locally there in Charleston and the surrounding cadets that come back to support. This is still a very proud football program, and they've got to feel good about where they are right now.
And when you've got that ownership, you know, when you're a cadet, you do go to all the home football games. And a lot of times on the big games on the road, they'll bring buses of cadets to those too. So you have an investment when you're a recruit, or when you're a cadet, rather, to kind of carry it forward going on. Even if you're not crazy about going to the games every week, you know, it would be easy to kind of get an affinity for the program. So, yeah, there are a lot of really loyal people all across the country, and people listening by us, you know, with the streams all over the world, and so they do get behind it. Obviously, you can't do that for all the sports. There's just too much other stuff for those guys to do, but they have built a nice little fan base for when they go, and it's a loyal little group here. I'd say, you know, in the Charleston area, a lot of South Carolina Gamecock fans, a lot of Clemson fans, and the Citadel and Charleston Southern kind of have their niches as well, and they really gave him something to cheer about the last couple of years.
On Twitter, he's at Mike Legg Tweets. You can listen to him each and every day on ESPN Radio 98.9 and 94.7 down in Charleston. And Mike, as I looked through some of the depth chart things, I couldn't help but notice that I didn't realize this, but Lorenzo Ward's son, a running back there for the Citadel Bulldogs this year, and I saw that in the scrimmage on Saturday. I guess he had a pretty big run during the day. Is he a player that's expected to be an impactful guy for the Bulldogs this year?
I think he's one of the guys that can get into the mix. I think they're pretty good at the A-backs, and that's where he kind of falls. B-back is where they have some issues with Tyler Renew being gone and a couple of other guys who were younger than him that had some issues injury-wise. So they went from being very loaded at the B-back position to not very loaded at the B-back position. But, yeah, on a couple of different occasions in scrimmages, Lorenzo Ward has done quite well. You could imagine that he would be further along than a lot of guys. Being a coach's kid, you just kind of soaked it up all the time when you were younger. I think he can be in the mix. Brent Thompson says he's pretty set with his ones right now, but twos are still where the competition plays in, and so he still has an opportunity to get some reps.
And I don't think we can mention Lorenzo Ward and not mention the fact that just a couple of years ago, the Citadel comes to Columbia. They beat the South Carolina Gamecocks. In terms of recruiting and branding and all that, how beneficial are victories like that? I know it happened back in the 90s, but to do it in today's era of college football, what does that do for the program?
Well, I think it was a pretty big deal because it's splashed all over the place when that happens. And, you know, an in-state win like that certainly resonates with anybody that you're looking at there. Smart coaches probably made some calls quickly. You know, but the product was enhanced that day, too, because, you know, the Citadel was kind of, in my opinion, that year, they were on the bubble to get in the playoffs. And I thought, you know, once they got that one, I don't think there was going to be any way that they would be left out. They still didn't get a seed, but they did go on the road. They won at Coastal Carolina and then lost to Charleston Southern. But I think it got them in the playoffs that year. Anytime you can get a win over an SEC school, but you're not competing against a South Carolina. But you certainly can talk about how your program is headed in the right direction, and nobody gave you a chance. And I'm sure they played on it that day, and that was a pretty nerve-wracking game. I've done a lot of games, you know, guaranteed games where you may hang tight for a while, and then the team that you're hanging with takes off and leaves you. Obviously, there was a play late in that game when they threw a bomb up the sideline to Pharaoh Cooper, and I thought, oh, here we go. But that one came back on a penalty flag, and it all worked on that particular day.
One final question for you, Mike. In terms of the defense, I know SoCon Defensive Player of the Year last year, Khalid Williams, is back for the Bulldogs. What exactly does he bring to the table in terms of that safety spot for them defensively?
Good leader, good athlete, can really run, and a guy who's got potential to play at the next level. Certainly, try to make somebody's roster. So I think he's really good leader there. But you know they've got some. Unlike the offensive line, they do rotate guys in on the defensive line, so they'll play 8 guys a game, and that helped with some guys that are lost to graduation. So I feel pretty good about them up front. The linebackers are pretty good, and Williams is really good in that secondary. I think they filled in pretty nicely. They lost D. Delaney to Miami. And, you know, you wish you could have him back. But if he starts at the University of Miami, it ought to give you an indication of how good a player he was. But Williams is the leader. I think he's a very good player. The defense needs to create opportunities for the offense. They need to turn over people, maybe more than they did last year. But the year before, they had about 20 interceptions. And so I think that type of productivity from the defense will really help things out.
He's Mike Legg, the play-by-play man for the Citadel Sports Network. Again, on Twitter, at Mike Legg Tweets. Mike, always great talking to you, and look forward to having you back on again soon.
Sure enough, Lawton. Nice talking to you.
There you go. The Citadel Bulldogs and the Clemson Tigers will square off just before Thanksgiving, all before the Tigers and the Gamecocks get it on here in the state of South Carolina. Should be a great one. 803-978-1832, the number. Final segment of the evening coming up here on the show that shakes the Southland. Stay with us.
Need
Custom shirts, hats, or uniforms? How about promotional giveaways for your business or organization? Need fast turnaround times? Look no further than Meridian Printing and Promotions. Located in Lexington, they provide an in-house art department, in-house screen printing, and in-house embroidery services to the Midlands and beyond. For the absolute best quality products and services, contact Meridian Printing and Promotions, 785-4990. Check them out online, mbspromo.com.
Do you want a pharmacy that treats you like a person and not just a number? Then let Craig and Lori at Southlake Drug show you what a pharmacy should be. Fast, friendly, and professional. Southlake Drug can transfer your prescriptions and take the hassle out of getting your medicine and getting you on your way. Southlake Drug takes all major insurance programs, including Medicare, Medicaid, and state employees, and they provide immunization services, including flu shots with no wait and no appointment. Southlake Drug, 1856 Southlake Drive in the Food Line Shopping Center, 399-7701, or southlakedrug.com.
Hey guys, Lawton Swan here. I was hanging out in the backyard with my son Mason the other day, and he said, "Dad, you're the best father ever." I was like, "What makes you say that, son?" He said, "When I go outside to play now, I don't get eaten up by the bugs anymore." Imagine that, me, a hero, when all I did was just a couple of weeks ago call Trey Powell at Mosquito Joe with their routine service plan. No more bugs and no more bites. Make yourself the family hero. Call Mosquito Joe today, 803-223-7916. Outside is fun again.
For more information about contests on this station, go to foxsportsradio1400.com/rules.
Follow Clemson Sports Talk on Twitter at Clemson Sports. Now more of Clemson Sports Talk. Take it away, Dad.
What have you done for me lately? It's a fair question. Just don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Don't forget history. Lucky for us at Clemson, the answer to the questions, what have you done for me lately, and what have you done always, are the same. We win.
Eclipsing the garnet and black every day from 6 to 8 p.m. It is the purple and orange. Clemson Tiger Nation. Lawton Swan. Lowell, the producer, Clemson Sports Talk, the show, the website, all of that good stuff. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. Appreciate Mike Legg joining us, Larry Penley, Zach Lentz. All of those folks were a part of the show tonight. Taking a look out to, let's see, social media. Still a lot of Eclipse stuff. Davey D says he did watch some of the marathon, including the Clemson-South Carolina game last night. He says he's still no clue where Jake Bentley says Clemson wasn't that much better than South Carolina. I'm picking up what you're putting down there, Davey D23. Lowell, we've got the college sports corner, which we typically do at 7:32 here. It is 7:47, but our good friends down at Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac in Orangeburg request that we put together a college sports corner, and of course, we always deliver.
Clemson Sports Talk presents the College Sports Corner, brought to you by Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac. Just a short drive down I-26 at exit 145A in Orangeburg. Now, CST reporter Lawton Swan.
Love this segment, Lowell. Hermetically sealed envelopes. I have no idea what you're going to say or where you're going to go with it. I just try to wheel and deal off of what you dish here during the college sports corner. Always one of my more fun segments because typically I learn something. Lowell?
Well, we mentioned it earlier in the program, and it's one of my reasons why I don't believe Tennessee will be very good this season. Tennessee wide receiver Josh Smith broke his collarbone in a practice on Sunday. Could miss a significant amount of times, possibly up to 8 weeks, maybe more if surgery is required.
Wow, you know what's funny? Not funny about that. I don't think it's funny when anybody gets hurt. I'm surprised though that you don't see that more often. Collarbone injuries in sports. I believe that's the clavicle. Is that what it's called? The clavicle that you break. When I was a kid, we accidentally broke a guy, Jonathan Cooper's collarbone. We were playing a little football in the backyard. The old tackle football back in the day. Yeah, when the old shoulder goes into the ground, that's not a good thing. 8 weeks, so that's a lot of the season, buddy. Did you say 8 to 10 weeks?
No, I said it could be possibly up to 8 weeks.
Up to 8 weeks. Yeah, that's a lot of the year for Josh Smith to be out for Tennessee, no doubt.
Well, Florida head coach Jim McElwain is confident in his team against Michigan despite having 7 players suspended in that ball game. Speaking to fans or students at Florida at a pep rally, he said, "I love the energy. Can't wait to see you. And you know what? We're heading to Dallas here in a couple weeks to go beat the heck out of Michigan, and then we're going to come back to you guys."
I like the fire. They need to win that game. I mean, obviously, for Florida, stepping out of conference and going out of state is rare for them. And going on the road, again, it's not like they're going to Ann Arbor, but still, that's even more rare. Yeah, I like that. I mean, I do like that. I like the fact that you're taking you've got some things going against you in terms of the suspensions. Again, they're a big red flag too, right? I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, I feel like Alabama is the favorite in the West because they're the favorite in the West. I feel like Florida is the favorite in the East because there's not a lot. They're just kind of the de facto favorite in the East, if that makes sense. If you said to me, Swanee, give me one team in the East that you think might be better than Florida this year and finish ahead of Florida, the only team I can point to is Georgia. That's the only one. And my confidence level in pointing to Georgia, let me tell you what, Georgia Nation, I wish Clemson was lining up with you this year. That's where I think you are right now. I'm not sure how good or bad Clemson is going to be. I wish you were on the schedule this year because I think Clemson is that much better than the Georgia Bulldogs.
Well, Kansas football hasn't been good in a couple of years. I think we could acknowledge that fact.
Fair statement.
And it's not looking like it's going to get any better. Kansas linebacker Micaiah Long was dismissed from the team after an alleged gun threat. Allegedly, he was threatening a woman with a handgun. He was charged on Monday with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, which is a felony, and misdemeanor counts of criminal damage to property and marijuana possession.
Yeah, that's not the way you want to... That's not how you want to kind of kick things off as you close in on the season, I wouldn't think. That seems like not a good deal. And I think you're also right when you say Kansas has not been good in football in a while. That's another accurate statement by Lowell, the producer.
They did beat Virginia Tech one time in the Orange Bowl. I think that was probably the highlight of their history.
Yeah, well, they were in that matchup with Missouri. Didn't we talk about that one, that crazy 2007 season?
I believe that was the year they won the Orange Bowl.
2 and 3. They were number 2 and number 3. They had Mangino, I think. Was he the head coach? What's he doing these days? Can you give us a report on Mangino? By the way, I talked about Georgia and how I think they could be a threat in the East of the SEC. App State, at Notre Dame, Samford, Mississippi State, at Tennessee, at Vanderbilt, Missouri, that matchup against Florida, South Carolina, at Auburn, Kentucky, and Georgia Tech. I mean, realistically, if they beat Florida, they could afford a loss to Auburn, and obviously still they'd win the conference, or at least the division.
The last thing listed for Mark Mangino, by the way.
Yes.
He was hired in 2014 at Iowa State to be the offensive coordinator. But after disagreements about the direction of the offense with head coach Paul Rhodes, Mangino was relieved October 26th, 2015. And then, of course, Paul Rhodes was fired less than a month later.
Lowell, your science lesson of the day concludes like this. It comes to us from Tiger Weenie via the Ocean Reef Resort text line. Big man, a new moon is just like today, except the moon doesn't pass directly in front of the sun and block it. Moon phases are created by the sun's rays reflecting off the moon as it orbits the earth. Tiger Weenie, go Tigers. Did you learn something there?
Yeah, I just kind of look up at the moon and go, ooh, pretty. That's kind of my
the extent of it.
The extent of my knowledge about the moon.
Old School Tiger chiming in via the Ocean Reef Resort text line says, I love that Clemson is number 5 in the country and didn't receive any first-place votes because nobody plays the motivation card better than Dabo.
Yeah, Dabo can find a way to take a top 5 team and say it's an underdog.
Here's my way too early Final Four. Southern Cal, Clemson, Auburn, and Penn State. That comes to us from Old School Tiger.
Clemson and Auburn both making it in.
Back in. So it wasn't the Florida State-Alabama matchup that gets the job done. It's the Clemson-Auburn matchup that gets the JOBDONE right here on Clemson Sports Talk for you. Anything else, Lowell, over there in the college sports corner tonight? Any tidbits, nuggets, or juice?
We mentioned it briefly on yesterday's program, but Penn State head coach James Franklin got a 6-year extension. He will average $5.73 million annually.
$5.73 million for James Franklin up at Penn State. That's a whole lot of coin for, I don't want to say not a lot of success, but it's not like he's been dancing in the college football playoff. It's not like he's hoisted that golden scepter.
And after last year, the pressure's on. The pressure's on now to produce something.
You know, I say he hadn't been in the college football playoff, but the argument could be made they should have been, especially after Clemson put Ohio State up in the 31 eclipse, if you follow what I'm saying there, people, on the eclipse day. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope your eyes are protected and safe. It was funny because some people were like, can we go outside? Yeah, it's like any other day with the sun in the sky. You don't stare at it. This is just the protective glasses to look at it while the eclipse is happening. For Lola, producer, I'm Lawton Swan. As always, y'all take care now. And go Tigers!
Love it raw? For the freshest sushi in town, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, 807 Gervais Street in the Vista. Sakatumi's flavorful grill for non-sushi fans features the Kobe burger, filet and lobster, chicken hibachi, and more. Fresh sushi, flavorful grill, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, sakifresh.com. Stars and Stripes Sports is a leader in the sports athlete development market, offering innovative health, fitness, training, and player development solutions for players and coaches of all levels of youth sports. Stars and Stripes Sports is looking to add at least 2 people per state to start their own business for sports testing and to market these events locally. We want people to start their programs in early 2017, starting with spring training. Many high-quality athletes fail to reach their potential. Call Chris today, 704-737-9970, or email Chris Carlson at starsandstripesports.com.
Our customers receive the best heating and air conditioning service in South Carolina. Hi, I'm Tim Mosley, and I can make that statement because that's what our customers tell us every day. We call it quality confirmed. Call us at 803-233-7172, and we'll call you when the job is done to confirm we met your expectations. That's quality confirmed. We're Carolina Conditions, and we're committed to meeting your expectations. 803-233-7172. Call us at 803-233-7172.
For 28 years, the professional staff of the Hobbs Group and Hobbs Group Advisors has been dedicated to helping others achieve their financial goals by delivering quality, objective financial and accounting solutions to a diverse client base of individuals and businesses all over South Carolina. We offer tax and audit services, bookkeeping, payroll, litigation support, employee benefits, personal financial planning, investment management, and insurance services. Please call us at 803-799-0555 or visit our website, hobbscpa.com, to learn more about our people and services.
Tiger fans, look no further than the Tiger Sports Shop in Clemson for all your game day gear. Since 1974, they've brought you everything Clemson for the Clemson fan, with quality brand names such as Nike, Under Armour, Antigua, Ping, and many more. From hats to t-shirts to tailgate, the Tiger Sports Shop has all the Clemson apparel a true Tiger fan needs. With 2 convenient game day locations in Tigertown, shop where I shop at I Am Ibrahim's Tiger Sports Shop. They fuel the passion of Tiger fans everywhere. Check them out online, tigersports.com.
Chris Domine is a husband and a father. Chris is an athlete. Chris is even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris was facing a very different story because his kidneys were failing.
Basically, the doctor said, if you don't get a kidney transplant and if you don't do dialysis, you are going to die.
Fortunately, Chris received a second chance at life, made possible by an organ donor.
You know, your